Daniel lived a quiet life. He lived alone in a small, tidy house. He spent his days reading and tending to his garden. One night, Daniel heard a loud knock at his door. It was midnight. He was surprised. No one ever visited him this late. Daniel opened the door cautiously. There was no one there, but on the ground he saw a letter. It was a plain white envelope with no name or address. Daniel picked it up slowly. His heart was beating fast. He closed the door and went inside. Daniel sat down and opened the envelope. There was a single sheet of paper inside. The message was short and strange. Go to the train station locker, locker number 17. You will find answers. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. He didn't understand. Who sent this letter? What answers were waiting at the train station? Daniel thought about his mother. She died when he was young. Could this letter be connected to her? The letter worried Daniel all night. He couldn't sleep. The words train station locker echoed in his mind. He decided to go to the station. He had to see what was in locker number 17. The next morning, Daniel went to the train station. It was crowded with people. Daniel felt nervous. He found locker number 17. It looked old and rusty. Daniel took a deep breath and opened it. Inside the locker was a small wooden box. Daniel took the box and went to a quiet corner of the station. He opened the box carefully. There was an old tape recorder inside, and a single cassette tape. Daniel didn't own a tape recorder. He wondered who sent him this box, and what was on the tape. Daniel decided to go see his neighbor, Mr. Grayson. Mr. Grayson was an elderly man. He lived alone and always kept to himself, but Mr. Grayson knew a lot about electronics. He might be able to help Daniel. Daniel went back home and knocked on Mr. Grayson's door. Mr. Grayson opened the door. He looked surprised to see Daniel. "Hello, Daniel," he said. "What brings you here?" Daniel explained the mysterious letter, the locker, and the box with the tape recorder. Mr. Grayson listened patiently. He seemed intrigued by Daniel's story. "Well," he said, "let's see what's on this tape." Mr. Grayson took the tape recorder and cassette from Daniel. He examined them closely. Then, he connected the tape recorder to his old speakers. He put the cassette in and pressed play. The room was filled with a crackling sound. Then, a woman's voice. It was faint but clear. "This is the truth. About what happened." The voice on the tape was Daniel's mother. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. His mother's voice. He never thought he'd hear it again. He leaned closer to the speaker, hanging on to every word. Her voice was filled with urgency. She spoke about a secret project she was working on. She mentioned a house, an old abandoned house on the outskirts of town, a place where she kept important documents. She was afraid that someone was watching her, trying to silence her. The tape ended abruptly. Daniel was left with more questions than answers. Who was his mother afraid of? What was this secret project? And what happened to her? Mr. Grayson looked at Daniel with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "It seems your mother was involved in something dangerous," Mr. Grayson said. Daniel knew he had to find out what happened. He had to go to this abandoned house. He had to uncover the truth about his mother's death. Daniel and Mr. Grayson decided to go to the abandoned house together. The house stood at the end of a gravel road surrounded by overgrown trees and weeds. It looked eerie and deserted. As they approached the house, Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. He could almost feel his mother's presence. Mr. Grayson noticed Daniel's anxiety. "Don't worry, Daniel," he said reassuringly. "We'll get to the bottom of this." They reached the front door. It was boarded up, but one of the boards was loose. Daniel pulled it off, creating a small opening. He peered inside. The house was dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung from every corner. Daniel and Mr. Grayson squeezed through the opening and stepped inside. The air was thick with the smell of decay. It felt heavy, like a weight on Daniel's chest. He shone his flashlight around, illuminating the dilapidated furniture and scattered debris. It was clear that no one had been here for a very long time. They began to search the house, room by room. They looked for anything that could shed light on his mother's work and her sudden death. They found old journals, photographs, and files, but most of them were too damaged to be of any use. As they delved deeper into the house, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He could hear strange noises, creaking floorboards, rustling leaves outside the windows. He shared his concerns with Mr. Grayson, who agreed that something didn't feel right. They decided to be more cautious, moving more quietly and keeping an eye on their surroundings. Daniel couldn't help but wonder, If his mother was indeed in danger, was someone else still looking for whatever she had hidden in this house? Were they in danger too? Their search led them to a small study on the second floor. The room was in disarray, with books and papers scattered across the floor as if there had been a struggle. In the study, hidden under a floorboard, Daniel found a metal box. It was locked. He remembered the key he found on a chain around his neck, the key his mother gave him when he was a child. He had always kept it close. He took a deep breath and inserted the key into the lock. It fit perfectly. The box creaked open, revealing a stack of letters, documents, and photographs. They were well preserved, hidden away from the decay that plagued the rest of the house. As they examined the contents of the box, Daniel and Mr. Grayson began to piece together the puzzle of his mother's past. They discovered that she had been working on a groundbreaking scientific discovery, one that could have revolutionized her field, but her work had attracted unwanted attention. The documents revealed that she had been threatened, warned to stop her research. She had refused, determined to bring her work to light. And then she had died under mysterious circumstances. The official report called it an accident, but the evidence in the box suggested otherwise. His mother had been silenced, murdered, to keep her discovery a secret. Daniel was overwhelmed with grief and anger, but he was also determined to expose the truth. With the evidence in hand, Daniel and Mr. Grayson went to the police. They shared everything they had found: the letter, the tape, and the documents from the abandoned house. The police were initially skeptical, but the evidence was too compelling to ignore. An investigation was launched. The people his mother had worked with, those who had threatened her, were questioned. The truth slowly began to unravel. It was a tangled web of deceit, ambition, and greed. In the end, the people responsible for his mother's death were brought to justice. Daniel finally knew the truth about what happened. He felt a sense of closure, knowing that his mother's legacy would live on. He honored her memory by ensuring her groundbreaking discovery was shared with the world. Daniel no longer lived a quiet life. He had faced his fears, uncovered the truth, and found his purpose. He had lost his mother, but he had gained a new family in Mr. Grayson, and a newfound respect for the woman who had risked everything for the sake of knowledge and truth. He knew, with a certainty that warmed the chill in his heart, that his mother would be proud.